Welcome to our deep dive into the latest presidential approval ratings. It's a bit like a popularity contest, but instead of who throws the best parties, it's about who's best at pretending to run a country. We'll be looking at who's winning and who's failing in the eyes of the public. And by winning, I mean eking out a percentage point above the margin of error. It's a low bar, folks, but this is politics we're talking about. So, buckle up as we dissect the numbers, unpack the policies, and try to make sense of this whole presidential approval rating shebang. Let's start with the current champion of hearts and minds, or at least the one with the least amount of outright disapproval, President A. They're sitting pretty at the top of the polls with a shockingly not terrible approval rating. Now keep in mind, this is politics, so not terrible is practically a standing ovation. So what's the secret to President A's success? Well, it could be the recent policy win on, mention a recent policy win for President A. Or maybe it's the fact that they haven't accidentally started any international incidents yet. Let's be honest, sometimes it's more about what you haven't done than what you have. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, the honeymoon phase is notoriously fickle. Remember mention a president who had initial success then failed, and their meteoric crash? Yeah, let's just savor President A's moment in the sun while it lasts. Coming in at a respectable second place, we have President B, the master of political mediocrity. Their approval rating is like lukewarm oatmeal. Not exactly inspiring, but it gets the job done. President B's strategy seems to involve a lot of carefully worded statements, calculated compromises, and a general aura of "I'm trying my best, okay?" And you know what? It seems to be working. They haven't exactly set the world on fire with their policies, but they haven't driven it into the ground either. It's a low bar, sure, but again, this is politics. The real question is, can President B maintain this delicate balancing act, or will they eventually succumb to the gravitational pull of controversy? Only time, and the next poll, will tell. President C, forever stuck in the political purgatory known as the middle ground. Their approval rating is the human embodiment of a shrug emoji. Neither loved nor hated, just existing. The problem with occupying the middle is that you end up pleasing no one. The left thinks you're too conservative, the right thinks you're too liberal, and everyone agrees that you're just a bit meh. Now some might argue that being in the middle is a sign of balance and reason. But in the world of politics, it can often feel more like a recipe for irrelevance. Can President C break free from the shackles of moderation and finally take a stand? Or are they destined to remain forever trapped in the no man's land of political indifference? Now we enter the murky depths of disapproval with President D, whose approval rating is currently taking a nosedive faster than a pelican eyeing a particularly plump fish. What went wrong? Well, it's a bit of a greatest hits of political blunders, a series of questionable policy decisions, a few public gaffes that would make a toddler with a microphone cringe, and a general sense that maybe, just maybe, they don't actually know what they're doing. Of course, President D and their team are putting on a brave face, blaming the media, the opposition, and probably the intern who makes their coffee wrong. But the reality is, when your approval rating is lower than a snake's belly in a boot store, it might be time to face the music, or at least hire a new PR team. And finally, we arrive at the bottom of the barrel, the champion of low approval, the reigning monarch of what were they thinking? President E. Their approval rating is so low it's practically subterranean. We're talking Mariana Trench levels of disapproval here, folks. How did it get so bad? Where do we even begin? There's the scandal involving, mention a recent scandal. Oh, and who can forget the time they, mention another blunder. And let's not forget the disastrous handling of, mention a current event they messed up on. At this point, President E's approval rating is less a reflection of their policies and more a cry for help from a nation desperately seeking the undo button. So there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of the presidential approval rating roller coaster. We've seen the highs, the lows, and the decidedly mediocre middles. But remember, these numbers are just a snapshot in time, a fleeting glimpse into the ever-shifting sands of public opinion. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Let us know in the comments who you think will rise or fall in the next approval ratings. Who knows? Maybe the next time we do this, the entire political landscape will have flipped on its head. Stranger things have happened. Well, maybe not stranger, this is politics after all.